I'm amazed to see, people who sweep the streets and the sort of, the people walk past them and it's like they almost sort of move out of the way. And what's all that about? These are human beings. There's a nice story about the Dalai Lama who was talking to Shirley MacLaine years ago in an interview. And they were talking about, people in different jobs and professions. And he said, well, watch out, watch out for the street sweepers and the janitors and people like this, because they are actually the advanced souls of the world. That was his take. But I think more sort of metaphorically, I think what he was saying is that, these people are to be valued in the same way. But society teaches us otherwise. It's like, unless you're on a pedestal as a great businessman, a career man, a lawyer, or whatever it is, there's this element of, the assumption is that, you're not. You're not as valuable to society. Do you know what I mean?
Because we think, well, anyone can do that job, but only a few people could do this job, and only me can do my job. So, therefore, I must be unique and special and better. That's very dangerous.
It is very dangerous.
Because it doesn't usually work like that. Actually, you probably couldn't do that job.
But also, it presupposes that people are doing jobs that they're doing because they're jobs, rather than maybe that's something that, that is really what they intend or they actually would like to do. I mean, I have, to some extent, the opposite situation with some of my clients. They're doing things that they don't really love to do. I mean, they do up to a point, but they're doing them more for the point of view of security, paying the school fees, all the rest of it. If they had the choice, they'd rather be doing something completely different. However, they do it because of the, I suppose, the adverse consequences of doing something which wouldn't pay as well, or wouldn't have the same prestige, or wouldn't have the same, again, going back to what we said earlier about family judgments, and not being true to themselves. And I just.
But there is an element. I mean, I think it's important to find something that does click with you. But it's also the same thing. If you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. And that's true of the circumstances that you're in.
Oh, yes. No, I absolutely
I remember
agree
when
with that.
I first joined the ashram in 1975, I was assigned the task of helping with the cows. Now, I was doing the most...
Milking them?
No, that was too, not even as high as that. I was at the lowest end, basically accompanying the cows back and forwards to the milking bar.
Okay.
So, I just come out of university.
Yeah,
so I kind of, initially, I had a little trouble.
You had a little reluctance with this to start.
Well, I just thought, is this really kind of a proper use of my intelligence and kind of the skills and knowledge that I've gained?
Yeah.
I was having a hard time. Now, obviously, within the ashram, you're applying your intelligence in other ways, intellectually and theologically. So
sure.
It's been said. But I thought, maybe I should be doing something a little bit. But then one day it hit me. No, actually, I can do this with a full heart.
Yes.
And, we can, do this service to our absolute best and just make it as really nice as we can.
Yes.
And then at that point, this kind of peace and excitement took over me. And I never had a problem after that.
Yeah. And I think if you think of it in terms of the value to others, we might belittle a street sweeper because, as you say, everyone can do it. But, we also value having clean streets. We value that sort of, I think that sort of those circumstances, being in that environment.
Well, I think it's really important that culture is appreciative, and that we have a culture of gratitude.
Yes.
And that whatever the task, we are grateful.
Yes.
That the persons who are doing it and doing it so sincerely and so diligently, because it benefits us all.
Yeah.
And I think that there's fantastic examples of people doing kind of what we might call simple or menial tasks, but actually their consciousness is so elevated because they're doing it, with full dedication.